Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar covering Borescope optic cleaning. My name is Megan Friedrichs, and I'm the Visual Services Product Manager for Waygate Technologies. Today, I am joined by John Percival, our RVI Technical Lead.
Hi, everyone.
Today, we are focusing on Borescope optic cleaning. Cleaning your optics is the best way to guarantee that you are providing yourself the best image every time. We recommend cleaning your optics routinely to make sure that you're getting the best image and getting the most accurate measurements. So today we will be covering the importance of proper cleaning, the basics, so like anatomy of the camera head and the tips, and then demonstrating how to clean your camera head and our three main tip optic types. So first, we'll be covering the importance of proper cleaning, which will include some examples of dirty tips, examples of clean tips, and the impact that cleanliness has on measurement accuracy. So I'll now hand it over to John.
Thanks, Megan. A clean camera and clean tip optics are truly essential for optimal image quality and measurement performance. While some dirty conditions are easily observed with the naked eye, some are not so obvious, such as light coatings of oil, whether from lubricants or one's own fingers, can really be detrimental to measurement performance, especially so for stereo measurements. So here on the slide, we're showing three measurement tips. The left is a forward phase measurement tip, in the middle, a side phase measurement tip, and on the right, a side view stereo tip. And each of the tips is really quite filthy by any measure. So now let's talk about the importance of how that can impact measurements. So first, here's those same types of measurement tips, but in a much more pristine condition. On that first slide, we were showing the stereo tip, and you couldn't see the two dots here that are essentially the aperture, which is shown as two dots because the beam splitter prism provides the stereoscopic view. So going from the left to right, we've got the side phase measurement tip there that shows that it's quite clean, and the same with the forward phase measurement. And then we've got a large area or green coated tip. That's our large area phase measurement tip for measuring larger indications. Okay, so on the next slide, we're showing that same forward tip, but with a nice layer of grease or some type of oil on the tip window. And we're making measurements using our verification block. And what we're seeing is that our 100 thousandths measurement is measuring at 105 thousandths. So it's on the high side. And then the 1 millimeter distance measured in inches should be measuring about 39 or 40 thousandths. So these, it coming in at 46 thousandths is really much higher than what we would like to be measuring ideally. And then after we clean that tip, same borescope, same verification block, we're getting much improved measurements with the 100 thousandths measuring at 98 thousandths and the 1 millimeter distance being measured at 39 thousandths. So really spot on.
Now that we've emphasized the importance of proper cleaning and the impact that it can have on measurement accuracy, we'll cover the basics. So your optic components and the things that are necessary to clean, as well as the best tools for effective cleaning.
Yeah, so here we're calling out all of the different components of the tips and the camera head. So we've got the illumination plate, the camera lens itself, the LED gratings, and the attachment threads on the camera head, and the tip alignment notch on the camera head. So the illumination plate or the light guide is the glass cane that extends the white light from the camera through the tip optic. Phase measurement tips have the LED grading, which allows the red light from the LEDs to project the structured light. And this structured light essentially provides a surface mapping to allow one to perform the measurements. The camera head's tip optic alignment notch allows the tip to remain in its correct orientation as the threaded thimble is tightened, bringing that tip down and ideally mounting flush onto the camera face. So now we're showing you those gratings on the left and right side of the lens window. And then above the lens window, we've got the light cane or the light guide. And then at the bottom, we've got the black oval, which is the color code of this, telling us that it's a forward phase measurement tip. And then on the side view tip, there's your LED gratings. And then we have the tip lens itself. And then again, that light cane or that light guide. And then we want to have everyone note the 3 pogo pins that are inside a phase measurement tip. So these are what makes the electrical connection for the phase measurement tip to the camera head. So there's another view, a little more higher magnification of those 3 pogo pins that are spring loaded to make the proper contact. So we want to ensure that you have the right tools for the job, and really that is what we call the micro cleaning swabs. And really these micro swabs are kind of a hybrid between a toothpick and a cotton swab. We do not recommend using cotton swabs as they tend to have too many loose fibers that come free and become problematic. Also, their size is just too big to clean some of the smaller features that that micro swab is perfect for. The micro swabs are also ideal for cleaning the camera head and the tip optics because they allow one to apply a good amount of scrubbing pressure without the cotton fibers being liberated. If a refill of micro swabs is needed, a replacement package of 50 can be purchased as part number 114 M as Michael 2569. The replacement pack also includes a quantity of 5 lens wipes. When using the lens wipes, we recommend that you just tear the corner open, and then that way you're not allowing all the alcohol to evaporate, and it will last a lot longer than if you just fully open the package. As an alternative to the lens wipes, consider obtaining a small bottle of eyeglass lens cleaner or glass cleaner such as Windex, which would be more long-lasting. And small 1-ounce bottle, as shown here, is really an ideal size for our purposes.
Next, John will walk us through how to clean the camera head with a bit of a demonstration.
Yep, so we're starting with the threads of the camera head. And you can see we're getting quite a bit of dirt off of there onto our micro swab. And now we're cleaning the face of the camera head. We're going to clean the camera lens window itself. And give that a good scrubbing. You can see we're getting some dirt off of there as well. And then we're cleaning the fiber optics. And then last, the 3 contact pads where the pogo pins from the phase measurement tip make their contact. And then we're bringing your attention to the alignment notch. So this one is free of dirt and debris, but really the idea here is that you always want that to be part of your inspection for cleanliness. And it's really important that the alignment notch be nice and clean because it will prevent a tip from fully seating on the face of the camera. So that could possibly impact your focus slightly, And in the case of a measurement tip, it could potentially impact the accuracy of that measurement tip. So again, that's where you might pick up with your verification block that you're not measuring those 100,000ths and the 1 millimeter distance ideally. So that's something to take a look at.
So John, those contact pads on the camera head only exist on MBIQ or MBIQ plus 6.1 millimeter heads, right? Our Mentor Flex XL or other diameters of the MBIQ will not have those contact pads.
That's right, Megan. The 6.1 millimeter diameter heads are ideal and are identical in every other way except for those 3 contact pads, because phase measurement is only offered on the Mentor Visual IQ.
Perfect. Next, we will demonstrate how to best clean phase measurement tips.
So when cleaning any tip optic, always start by carefully cleaning the attachment threads. By cleaning the threads first, one will be less likely to touch the tip of the lens or the face of the lens with a finger if it was cleaned first. So here we're cleaning a forward view phase measurement tip, and you can see we're getting quite a bit of dirt off of those threads. And once we have that clean, we can hold the tip and keep that face available to get that nice and clean and give that a really good scrubbing. And then the bottom view, we're going after the side phase measurement tip, same process, paying close attention to the lens, the LED gratings, and the light guide. So again, one wants to be very careful of those 3 pogo pins, because if those pogo pins get bent, they cannot be straightened again. And that will mean a new tip would need to be replaced in that case. So be very careful when you're cleaning the threads not to extend that micro swab too far in there, and keep those in mind.
Thanks for that. Next, we'll move on to stereo measurement tips.
So again, same process. We're going to clean the attachment threads first, and then that'll allow us to hold the tip by the attachment thimble, and then we can clean the face of that measurement tip. And we want to be careful with the inside of a tip that we don't dislodge the O-ring. So we recommend not cleaning that internal lens unless you're actually troubleshooting a tip that's providing a bad image. So a tip that has a focus issue, then you might want to go and clean that internal lens. But we recommend not cleaning that so you don't accidentally dislodge that O-ring or that gasket. They're not fragile by any means, but it is possible to dislodge them because the amount of surface area that's bonded with the epoxy really isn't that large. And then another
And lastly, we will
recommendation.
demonstrate how to clean our. Oh, sorry, John, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say another recommendation that we have when cleaning the tips would be to use a microscope. And if you don't have a microscope available, then we would recommend that you use ideally a high magnification tip when you're cleaning your tips, and then you can turn your video borescope into a video microscope, so to speak. And that becomes really helpful to be able to tell if the tips are as pristine as you want them to be versus just using the naked eye.
A fantastic idea. So lastly, John will describe how to clean our standard or non-measurement tips.
Yep, so really same process again. And then in this case, the only thing we need to be concerned about is dislodging the O-ring on the inside around that internal lens. So now we're showing cleaning the tip window and then cleaning the light cane or the light guide of that tip optic. And then that tip shows the black ovals that are the color code for that forward standard tip. And then in the bottom view, we're doing a side view tip. So again, we're going to start with the attachment threads, and then we can hold the tip by the thimble and not accidentally put a fingerprint on it once we've already cleaned it. There you're getting a view of that internal gasket. We're cleaning that lens window and then cleaning that light cane or that light guide. And then on the left-hand side, you can see that we've got some other standard tips. We've got a blue side and a red side tip, and then we've got forward view white and a forward view yellow tip. So again, those color dots sometimes will also get colored with grease and dirt, and will need cleaning so it can easily distinguish which color tip that you're looking to find in your tip box. So in summary, measurement accuracy can be affected by dirty optics. And in fact, on the Mentor Visual IQ, when you're using 3D measurement, whether it's stereo or phase measurement, the system will actually tell you sometimes that the tips are dirty and need to be cleaned. So that's pretty awesome in itself. You want to use caution to avoid the phase measurement tips 3 electrical pogo pins, and clean all attachment threads frequently, including the camera head threads themselves. Clean the tip optic face last so you don't get that accidental fingerprint when you're all done, and then obtain micro cleaning swabs for the best results. So those are available from us. They're also available from like dental distributor companies. If you have any additional questions or concerns regarding this topic or other topics, please reach out to our technical support team, and you can email them at remoteservice@bakerhughes.com, or you can reach us by phone at 1-866-243-2638. So thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate you joining us today. And now we're available for any questions that you might have that you can type into the comments.
Thanks, John. That was super helpful. We've had one question. How much pressure can you use when scrubbing the tips?
To the point where you could actually break that wooden handle of that cleaning swab. You know, you really, when it comes to cleaning the face of the tips, you're not going to do any damage with that micro cleaning swab. You know, you just need to use caution on the parts that we talked about, right? Avoiding the 3 pogo pins on a phase measurement tip. And if you're needing to clean that internal lens because you're troubleshooting a tip that doesn't give you a good focus, then you want to clean that internal lens and just take care of that you're not knocking that O-ring or gasket loose.
Does that pressure change depending on the threads versus the camera, or is it essentially a lot of forces? It can handle a lot of force all over?
Yeah, it's really not an issue. What you're going to find more is that you need to clean using multiple micro swabs, right? So depending on how dirty that gets, you're going to want to replace that frequently with a clean one, again, that's been moistened with either lens cleaner or the isopropyl alcohol.
That makes sense. And what's the recommended frequency for cleaning these optics? Is it like every inspection, or is it as you see dirt? What's the?
Yeah, so kind of as needed, and depending on your applications, you know that some of your applications are more dirty environments than others. And I think a good rule of thumb is that if you're going to be conducting any critical measurements, always a good idea to clean your camera and clean the measurement tips prior to performing any critical measurements.
Pavel asked
yeah, so occasionally we do get questions about people saying, hey, can I put my tip optics into an ultrasonic? And no, that is not a good thing to do. Putting them into like an alcohol bath and an ultrasonic, that is really going to attack the epoxies that are used to manufacture those tips. So best to avoid something like that. If you wanted to soak that tip in like dish detergent or something to degrease the tips, then that's okay to do. We recommend isopropyl alcohol on a limited basis and in frequent use. So, you know, if you read our care and use instructions in the user manual, we typically recommend 70% isopropyl alcohol to water, so as opposed to pure alcohol. But you can use pure isopropyl alcohol when you've got something really nasty that's hard to remove, something stubborn.
Perfect.
Thanks for that question, Pavel.
I think someone asked another question about using an ultrasonic cleaner, but I think you just answered that. So.
Yep.
Okay. So just to reiterate, that is not a recommended practice, correct?
Yeah, we've run into an instance where someone who wasn't aware of that, you know, just threw the tips in there. They used pure isopropyl alcohol, and then what they found out was that that was a very effective way to dissolve the epoxies in that tip, and then you're wound up with loose components. So don't use the ultrasonic.
Understood. Give it another couple seconds to see if there's any more questions. Okay. Well, thank you, John.
Well, thanks, everyone.
I really appreciate the time, and I think that was hopefully a helpful session for everyone. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.